So welcome. My name is Graham Nicholson. I'm the Associate Dean International for the Faculty of Science at UTS. And today I'm going to give you a presentation around our postgraduate coursework and our research programs. So obviously you have come to this webinar as a STEM graduate, hopefully in the sciences or mathematics areas. And you may be aware that 75% of the fastest growing occupations actually require these types of skills and knowledge. So getting a postgraduate qualification in this area is particularly important. So I'll start off by telling you a little bit about the science faculty here at UTS. We actually have 5 disciplines in our faculty. First is the area of medical and molecular biosciences. This is probably the biggest area of the faculty. The environmental sciences, environmental biology, marine biology, for example. Chemistry and our forensics program, physics and nanotechnology, and finally mathematics and statistics. And we have over 70 courses, both the undergraduate and postgraduate coursework and research levels. We have some unique facilities here at UTS, and as a postgraduate student, some of these would be useful in your degrees. We have a surgical and anatomical facility, which we teach anatomy. We have a 3D large format printing protospace. So this is great for mocking up prototypes, particularly in the biomedical engineering area. In the centre are 2 unique facilities for our forensic science program. The top one is our body farm or forensic taphonomy facility. This is the only body farm outside of the US, and it looks at the decomposition chemistry of cadavers and is used in the area of training sniffer dogs and understanding the time of death for patients, for people that have succumbed to natural disasters or even murder and such like. Below is our crime scene simulation lab. So this is where we mock up individual crime scenes, and students are taught how to collect trace evidence to maintain a chain of evidence for legal purposes and how to analyse those trace components. On the top right is our super lab. We have both a 220-seat laboratory as well as a 270-seat laboratory, both our super labs. So these are 2 facilities. We're the only university in the world that actually has 2 super labs. So as you can see here, this particular super lab, which is more for undergraduate students, has computers in front of every single student. And we can run up to 12 different classes in here, or one very large class of about 208 students. And finally, in the bottom right is our UTS Biologics Innovation Facility. So this is particularly important in the areas of medical and environmental biotechnology. And it's used for the manufacturing of recombinant proteins and peptides, things like that, or for the development of nutraceuticals and byproducts of algae. So this gives you an example of the Hive Super Lab, which is one of the 2 super labs we have here at UTS. It is a large format 270-seat laboratory. We can run PC2 experiments here, so physical containment level 2, so working with certain pathogenic bacteria, for example. It is set up particularly to work for students to work in groups of up to 6 students. And one of the key elements of this laboratory is to try and teach students how to design experiments and to actually analyse samples to determine unknowns and things like that. So they can use their skills that they've built up at their undergraduate level to design and test their own experimental skills. So in terms of further study, you've come to this webinar presumably because you're interested in a postgraduate course. And it's very important to note that postgraduate study can not only lead to a higher salary, but a greater likelihood of employment as well. And in fact, in the sciences, it's very common for students to undertake further study at a postgraduate level. So the graph on the right here shows you in the dark blue bars areas of science where you can see anywhere between about 35% up to over 50% of students actually all go on to further full-time study, whether that's a coursework program like a master's by coursework or a research program like a master's by research or PhD. Obviously, as you gain further qualifications, your salary, your earning potential increases, and this graph shows you data from 2019 here in Australia for the levels of remuneration of graduates with different levels of postgraduate qualifications. So here on the very left is the bachelor, the average salary, average annual salary for a science graduate with a Bachelor of Science degree. The total package, which would include things potentially like computers, cars, etc., would be somewhere around $111,000 per year. For those with graduate diplomas, you can see that increases by about 14%, for masters 21%, and for those who go on to PhDs by up to 30%. So you can see there is quite a deal of benefit in gain from taking on a higher qualification at master's or PhD level. So what are the study options that we have here at UTS in the postgraduate space? We offer a number of master's programs, which are listed here on the left-hand side. We have Masters of Medical Biotechnology, a Master of Forensic Science, and a Master of Quantitative Finance that draws upon skills in statistics and mathematics and programming. We also have a Master of Science programs with majors in biomedical engineering, which we teach in conjunction with the Faculty of Engineering and IT, marine science and management, mathematical and statistical modelling, and we also have a no specific major or flexible degree where you can pick and choose subjects to suit your particular requirements from any of these programs listed above. So in terms of the qualifications you would gain, we have both graduate certificates, which would be a 1 semester of study, graduate diplomas, which would be a full year of study. We have a 1.5 year master's program that goes on for 3 sessions, as well as a master's extension program. So the extension refers to the fact that there are actually an additional semester of subjects or research, small research projects that cover a full 2-year master's program. And that, of course, makes you eligible for a post-study work visa. You're not eligible with a standard 1.5 year master's in Australia. So how are our postgraduate master's coursework programs structured? Basically, I've just picked here one example, the Masters of Medical Biotechnology, which is probably our most popular program. And you can see in the first year, there is a range of compulsory core subjects or discipline-specific subjects in areas such as microscopy, flow cytometry, proteomics, etc., and infectious diseases. But they're also teamed up with a range of broad skills that you need in the workplace. And all of our coursework programs have this element to them where we feel that it's not just about learning more discipline-specific knowledge, it's also about gaining skills and experience in areas such as statistics, communication, writing risk assessments and management reports, and research proposal writing, for example. So all of our degrees have this element of both discipline core subjects as well as work-specific or workplace skills. So in the second year, you go on to do very similar things. You can choose elective subjects at the postgraduate level here, specific for, in this case, medical biotechnology, or you can elect to do a research internship, which is worth 8 or 16 credit points. But as I said earlier, you can also choose these other areas of workplace skills, such as leadership, innovation and commercialization, etc. So if we sort of try to summarize that on this slide here, you can see the overall structure of our 1.5 year masters on the left-hand side. So it's a range of discipline, compulsory or core subjects, and workplace discipline, core subjects, compulsory. as well as electives here in blue, which are workplace or discipline specific. Whereas the extension program, which is the 2-year program, takes on board all of those, but increases the amount of discipline elective subjects that you can take in the 2nd year specifically. But there is one unique program that we offer here at UTS Science, and that is our Master of Philosophy program. So like the Master's Extension, this is a 2-year program, but students are eligible for entry into this program only after undertaking the 1st year of either a 1.5 or 2-year Master's. And there are certain criteria for entry into the Masters of Philosophy to enter in to what's essentially a full-time 1 year of research by thesis. And of course, this is the pathway to a potential PhD. So I'll talk about the entry criteria in a minute. But you aren't able to enroll directly into our Master of Philosophy program. You have to enroll in either the Master's or the Master's Extension. So if you were interested in undertaking, say, the Masters of Philosophy ultimately, or even a PhD in the longer term, well, why would you elect to do the program here at UTS Science? Well, I think we have some world-class facilities, some of which I've shown you earlier, but we are well known in the research space for the quality and impact of our research outputs. So UTS itself is actually ranked #1 in Australia for the impact of its research. So that's national, local, national, and international impact of what we do in all our research spaces. In science, we're ranked #5 in Australia for the quality or research excellence of our research, and 100% of our research in the Faculty of Science is what's deemed as being above or well above world standard in the Australian Government's Excellence in Research Australia measurement, the ERA measurement. So essentially, all universities in Australia are measured against a set of criteria every couple of years, and you are ranked between 1 and 5, 5 being well above world standard and 4 being above world standard. So all UTS Science is in those upper two categories. What we are really known for in terms of research excellence is listed here in the centre. So these are in the areas of chemistry, such as the broad chemical sciences, macromolecular and materials chemistry, physical chemistry. We're known for our environmental sciences programs. We are known also for agricultural and veterinary sciences. Whilst we don't have postgraduate programs or even undergraduate programs in those areas, these are very much in the microbiological area and the parasitology area, and that is what we are really known for. Genetics, statistics, and also biomedical engineering, which we teach in collaboration with the Faculty of Engineering and IT. We are also ranked #1 in Australia and 70th in the world for the proportion of our research in leading science journals. And 14% of all the UTS papers in the top 10% of journals is highlighted here. This is part of what's called the Leiden ranking. So these are predominantly science journals. So what are the admission requirements into these various postgraduate coursework programs? Well, we're looking at essentially students who have graduated with a bachelor's, a master's in a related area perhaps, even graduate diplomas or graduate certificate qualifications in what we would term a cognate discipline. So if you come to us to do a Masters of Medical Biotechnology, for example, we would expected you to have done an undergraduate degree or a graduate diploma, graduate certificate, maybe even a master's in biomedical science, medical science, pre-medicine, biotechnology areas. Obviously, if you came to us with a chemistry degree and were wanting to get into medical biotechnology, you probably would not gain entry, and vice versa. So it has to be in the discipline area, but there is no GPA requirement for entry. The Master of Philosophy, which is the stepping stone into a PhD, you must have completed 1 year of the Master of Science or the Master of Science extension, whether it's a named degree or just a major within those Master of Science programs, with a grade point average of greater than 65% or equivalent. So we only take a certain number of students into this program, the stronger students. And this is partly why we can't enroll you directly into the Master of Philosophy, because we have to assess you within that first year of our degree program to make sure that you have the research potential to undertake the Master of Philosophy program. We then ask you to identify a supervisor and a project that you will work on. And we provide you with the opportunity to speak to all the supervisors. We run some information sessions where supervisors present their projects and potential students can talk to them. After you've achieved both of these things, a GPA over 65 and you've identified a supervisor and project, then you apply for an internal course transfer into the Master of Philosophy. So you don't have to go back out through a formal procedure to enter into the university. This is all done internally. So to summarise what I've talked about here today, all the science academics that teach into our postgraduate programs and our research programs, such as the PhD, are researchers themselves. All our academics undertake research. Many have done so in collaboration with industry, and we have a lot of industry connections, and they input into our programs in the postgraduate space, particularly the coursework programs. We've won teaching awards for our teaching programs here at UTS. We have a teaching award back in 2015 for our blended learning approach, which is the combination of online material and group work, classwork. I've shown you some of the world-class facilities, obviously, particularly in the research base. These are very wide and very varied, and we have a whole new building coming online, which will even add to the world-class facilities that we have in research. But I've shown you some of the examples of very unique facilities. We have a range of competitive scholarships at the postgraduate level, both 25% tuition fee waivers, as well as some very competitive 100% tuition fee waivers. And if you're interested in the scholarships, I would recommend that you attend the recorded webinars in the scholarships booth here today. But if you wish to look on our website, all you have to do is go to the UTS webpage and type in international scholarships into the search engine. If you come to us with certain degrees that overlap with our coursework programs, you may be eligible for credit recognition as well. And we certainly have on-campus accommodation for students, and there is a separate booth for our accommodation facilities that I recommend you visit as well. All our programs are very practice-oriented. We pride ourselves as being very connected with business and industry. And we work very closely in accrediting and developing our programs with employers. So graduates from our programs are very employable. And in fact, we rank in the top 100. We're actually ranked 69th in the world for employability of our graduates here at UTS. We have a range of internship opportunities in the coursework masters that you can undertake as part of the elective program. And if you wish to undertake a semester abroad, you can do so for credit towards your master's program with one of over 250 partners. And we actually have one of the largest student mobility programs in the country. And there are a range of internship opportunities there as well with research labs and industry and business. If you wish to go on to a higher degree by research, such as a master's by research or even a PhD, then it is comforting to know that UTS actually contributes over 35% of UTS's total research output. So we're one of the leading faculties at the university in the research space. And as I pointed out earlier, UTS is ranked #1 in Australia for the impact of its research. So you're entering a program of research capabilities that are really world class. So that concludes the webinar. If you would like to type any questions as you think of them into the Q&A section of today's webinar, please do so. We'll attempt to get through as many as we possibly can. If you do think of a question after today and want to get back to us with that particular query, you can contact us on science.international@uts.edu.au. And as those emails come through, we'll get back to you with the answers to your questions. Okay, thank you very much for your attention. I hope you understood everything of what I said about our unique offerings here at UTS. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you've got further queries, and I look forward to seeing you on campus, and good luck with your future.